What is going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be going over how you can use Great Tusk in the Tera Raids. So, let's get into it. So, Great Tusk is going to be a Scarlet exclusive Pokemon, and it's going to be the past form of Donphan. So, it is a ground fighting type, and honestly, he has some of the best stabs for those two typings within the game. But, first off, we're going to be going over his Tera type. I chose to do fighting. You can also do ground. Fighting is just kind of a extra stab on him because we are going to be running close combat. Now his items can be very different. I run a booster energy, which Paradox Pokemon, it boosts one of his stats. In this case, it's going to be his attack stat because it's going to be the highest. Now you can run a life orb, a shell bell, or something like that. You know, you can run a covert cloak. Anything like that would be perfectly fine. You could even run a leftover since you are going to kind of be bulking up. Bulk up is going to be on the set, and if you are running a leftovers, every time you bulk up you will get some health back, unlike Shell Bell, where Shell Bell you have to actually hit to get some health back. But let's get on to the moves. So getting into the moves, first off, we are going to be running bulk up. Boost your attack and defense on this Pokemon. His attack stat is very high, and his defense, his physical defense, is pretty high as well. So perfect for that set. Go ahead, just boost up, get a bunch of honestly attack buffs, and you can just do a lot of work. Now we are running a Mega Horn. Mega Horn is my coverage. I like running a coverage move, and Mega Horn being a 120 is very, very strong as a coverage. You don't get stabbed, but it is very nice having that high coverage move. And honestly, Bug works on a lot of different typings. Going on to our ground stab move, which is same type attack bonus because we are a ground type, is Headlong Rush. I believe the only other Pokemon we've seen use this move or have this move is Ursaluna, the Legends Arceus. And honestly, it's pretty much a close combat for ground moves. Now, do keep in mind, if you are using this move, it's a 120 base attack. You do get a little buff because you are ground type, but it lowers your defense and special defense stat by 1. So you do get a minus every time you use this. I have swapped this out with Earthquake. Perfectly fine. You do a little bit less damage because it's like a base 100. But you do a lot of damage if you are using this. Just keep in mind, you're losing those defense stats. You're dropping stats. Then your last move, I recommend Close Combat. Again, you're a fighting type. 120 Close Combat from this guy does a lot of damage. Now, it does also lower your defense stats. So you do actually have two moves that lower your stats. The way I like to use him, go in, bulk up a bunch, and then use one of these moves and just try and knock it out as fast as possible. Now you can swap Headlong Rush for Earthquake. Perfectly fine. Then you're only using one move that lowers your defense stats, which is perfectly fine. And honestly, if you are against a physical mon, like they are using physical attacks against you, and you are bulking up, you'll just lose one stage, and you keep your attack buff. If you bulked up, you've gained a defense buff, and you'll end up losing that defense buff. So it kind of evens itself out there if you are bulking up, but if you are using this against a special attacker, then honestly, you're going to be losing that special defense stat, and they're going to do a lot more damage. Plus, he is not a very bulky special defensive Pokemon. So now let's get into the spreads. So now if we are looking at these spreads here, I went with a full special defense, full physical attack with an adamant nature. And what that does is normally we would go full HP, but his defense stat is actually very solid. His health stat, very solid. The only thing that this guy lacks is his special defense stat. And man, does he not like taking special attacks. If you are trying to run this against a special attacker, this is the set I kind of found to be an all around. Does a little bit of everything, but you could go a full HP. If you went a full HP, you would be taking still more damage on the special side than you would just with this. So sometimes it is nice to just go full HP. In this situation, I found it better to do that full special defense investment to let you be a more bulky Pokemon. Now his ability, Photosynthesis, exclusive to the Scarlet Paradox Mons, and what that does, boosts a stat that is the highest, with attack being a 1.2 times and a speed being a 1.5 5 times. Doesn't do anything to your HP. And in this situation with maxed attack, adamant nature, your attack stat, your base attack stat is going to be raised. So just keep that in mind. I have found that whenever they nullify your effects within the raid, it does not seem to account for your booster energy proccing with your ability. Just keep that in mind. So now looking at his normal stats, his not his spread, his stats, you're looking at a 397 base physical attack stat. That coming off 120 moves is crazy. Normally we go in with like 80 or 70. We're lucky if we hit 100 base power move. But honestly, that's going to do a lot coming off a stab, especially with bulk ups. HP is a 372. That's just shy of 400. I'd like to say a little higher, but honestly, that works just fine, especially coming off our defenses. Our physical defense is just under 300. Now keep in mind, I do have 4 investment. I took those last 4 and put them in HP, which gave you a little more. So defense actually being at close to 300 is very solid. Now our special defense stat is a 205, and that's full investment. Remember, we did fully invest into our special defense, so it would have been way, way lower, which would not be good for this Pokemon. Speed is a 210. We're not too worried about speed. This is fully bottom capped, fully set up, full the way it. What's this mean? We are able to hit stuff really, really hard with very high moves. Like very high. 120 is going to do a lot of work. I would say again, your Tera type's fighting, you might get 3 hits off, maybe, depending on what you're fighting. You could Tera into fighting, get more damage onto your close combat, or if you're using Earthquake, you could change into ground, do more damage with Headlong Rush or Earthquake, whichever way you want to look at it there. Now within this Tera Raid, you're going to see that I'm going to be going in just simply bulking up, getting my stats pretty much as high as I can. I have used this guy in 5 and 6-star raids. Honestly, if he does have the good type matchup, he does a lot of work. He's able to get in, bulk up, do a lot of damage. And sometimes, honestly, like in this one, we were able to just pretty much take him down in one hit. Now this does involve bulking up, some setup, which we are kind of coming common to now within the Tera Raids. You want to go in, be as bulky as possible, set up, and just get in the right position to take a lot of damage and dish out a lot of damage at once. Now, this is my Great Tusk. If you have found this video helpful or you are going to build a Great Tusk, let me know down in the comment section down below. Go ahead, drop it a like, subscribe, and I want to know, where does Great Tusk rank on your Donphan models? You have Iron Treads, you have Great Tusk, and you have regular Donphan. Tell me which one of those is your favorite. Mine is Great Tusk. But I will catch you guys in the next Tera Raid build.